You and I spend a lot of time talking about, like, conceptually and philosophically, where is it that we should be paying attention? Where should our voice be? What are some of the developments that are really important to pay attention to? Yeah. So really excited to get into that. The other thing that I really love about this is, especially related to the topic of next generation leadership and equity, diversity, and inclusion, it's been something that's been a passion of mine my entire career, my entire life. So I started doing work as a diversity and inclusion practitioner literally when I was a teenager. Even before I knew it was a career path, it was just the passion and the activism that I was following. And then very, very early in my life, I was put into very significant leadership roles. When I was 25 years old, I had a very significant office as the head of human rights at the city of Fort Collins. And one of my mentors, Alma, ended up being a person who really guided me and helped me develop my own voice, but also was the person who introduced us.
Yeah.
Right? And then said, you know what, I remember Alma reaching out to me and saying, I met someone who reminds me a lot of you 20 or 30 years ago. I want to make an introduction. And I feel like that's also a huge opportunity when we think about next generation anything, is to also think about the opportunity for always creating spaces for new voices, always looking for wisdom that lives across generations, and not making assumptions about where the really powerful, wise experiences and contributions are going to come from. So I've always tried to really model that, but I model it because I'm a beneficiary of it. So I actually really believe in it a lot.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to like kind of like the baton race. I see that's like EDI, and I'm just going to share the story quickly because I went to the same college, university that DeEtta did, and I joined a lot of the similar organizations, including student government, and I was in a space that was all like pretty much all white, predominantly male too, and I had heard. And this is years and years later, but I joined.
Like literally 30.
I literally joined this organization with like a fire, like, okay, let's get some bills passed, let's do this. And people would tell me here and there, like, oh yeah, there was another student like this. And I heard about DeEtta before I knew who DeEtta was from multiple people. And I didn't realize it until after I met you. And I'm like, she was telling me about some of the work that she did. I was like, wow. I've been hearing stories, and some of the bills and works that she had started, like years and years prior, were some of the bills that we used to like make new ones. It was the precedents that had been set. So it's interesting to see. And then I went and worked for the city of Fort Collins afterwards, where DeEtta also had worked. And yeah, then I met Alma, and I could see where she made that comparison.
Yeah. I love it, right? And it's so cool. First of all, it just warms my heart to know that things that I was doing as a student activist actually had some impact, right? Because I cared so much and I was so passionate about it. But sometimes you don't know if young people's voices are actually going to be heard or taken seriously, if they're actually going to have kind of institutional impact, if they're going to stick around and actually be taken seriously over time. But to know that some of those things that were really, really important at the time also allowed for people generations after me. And then hopefully you did the same thing. And so that to me is like next generation leadership. It's next generation equity, diversity, inclusion. How do we create more spaces for more voices and also more potential for impact that's not as closed off and as exclusionary as it has been in the past?
True. And it's the idea too that like that impact is long lasting and it's spread out over years. And like maybe after you immediately graduated, you couldn't see how big of an impact it would be. But now looking back, we're like, yeah, because you started here led to me being able to enter that organization and do the work that I did. And then maybe hopefully someone will come to me and be like, I heard about you in ASCSU. I hope.
That's right. In 30 years.
I hope. I'll have to give them a chance like you gave me one.
That's right. That's the work.